I'm sure almost everyone knows about the story of the Titanic. All the girls love the DiCaprio classic movie. Plenty of men have had to sit through the film just to satisfy their relationship. It seems that Hollywood had to dull down the actual events of that tragic day just for our viewing pleasure. But the events leading up to the avoidable disaster are much darker than anyone could have imagined. Plenty of theories and stories have surfaced over the years to try to explain and cope with the loss of so many people in the cold Atlantic waters in April of 1912. Some have even gone as far as to write books about how the Titanic never actually sank, and it was the identical twin that hit the iceberg due to an insurance claim that would have cost the billionaire J.P. Morgan his fortune. Another tale depicts the leader of the voyage, Captain Smith, taking bribes and deliberately sinking the ship due to threats against his family. There are claims that the manufacturers of the materials and the builders of the vessel took shortcuts and used subpar materials which could not withstand the pressures and temperatures of the icy Atlantic waters, which caused the ship to sink faster than designed. These are just some examples of opinions and facts that have gone into this infamous event, and I hope by sharing some of these details, you can create your own theories and help the Titanic live on through history. Everyone seems to agree on one fact. A ship did sink in the icy waters of the North Atlantic on April 15, 1912, and approximately 1,500 passengers aboard that ship died. What if the Titanic wasn't the technical marvel that the ship's parent company, the White Star Line, had promised, but instead its identical twin, the Olympic, that took the fall, or should I say the sinking? Everyone at the time was competing to be the biggest, the best, and the newest at anything and everything. The British White Star Line was no different. In 1906 to 1907, one of the company's fiercest rivals sent out on its maiden voyage the world's then largest ships, the Lusitania and the Mauretania. To stay afloat, White Star Line entered into the giant ship war. The two massive ships had already outdone WSL's lead ships in terms of speed, so they were going to need some serious financial backing to put themselves above all the rest. WSL ended up being bankrolled by a big-time international holding company owned by J.P. Morgan. We'll get more into him later. With the green light from Morgan, WSL's chairman started the construction of the Olympic-class ships. They figured if they could not match their competitors in speed, they would just build a ship larger and fancier. 3 ships ended up being built: the Britannic, the Olympic, and of course, everyone's favorite, the Titanic. The Olympic was the flagship and the first constructed as the namesake. Its maiden voyage was a success, and a few other trips went without so much as a complaint. However, the 5th time the luxury liner went out to sea, it ran into a few problems. And by ran, I mean it crashed into a passing ship. On September 20th, 1911, 2 ships, the Olympic and a military vessel christened the Hawk, had an unfortunate meeting. For an unknown reason, the Olympic made an unexpected turn right into the Hawk. The Olympic would be able to stay above the water long enough to make it back to port, but later in a grueling trial, WSL would be found guilty and held responsible for the damage that had been done. The story up to this point has been proven factual and can be found anywhere that history is documented. Now this is where we take a wild turn and dive down the rabbit hole of theories and claims that could be fact or fiction. The crash of the Olympic was a financial nightmare and an economic disaster. Being caught in the middle of a lawsuit meant that there was no insurance money to pay for the damages. With the ship unable to be repaired, it sat at port drawing in no money. The one fortunate part about the situation was that the damaged Olympic just so happened to be sitting in the same port next to the unfinished and almost exact copy of the Olympic to the untrained eye. You guessed it, the unfinished ship, the infamous Titanic. WSL made the switch as the real Titanic was being finished. Now the Olympic and the other damaged ship would be repurposed to be the actual Titanic. The plan was for the Olympic, secretly operating as the Titanic, to be an accident, which would allow WSL to collect the insurance money befitting a brand new ship. And the original ship built like the Titanic would live on. The unforeseen hiccup in this nefarious plan just so happened to be an iceberg. The rest was seen as history. Only in that, the real Titanic was still tucked away in port like the original damaged Olympic. never actually making the ill-fated journey across the icy Atlantic.